Hello, everyone. Long time no see. Welcome back to another episode of What's Next with Ronika. If you missed my fun facts are that a blue whale is the largest living mammal. The heaviest it's been is 190 tons. And the second fun fact is that my brother's birthday is today and mine is in less than 2 weeks. We're both part of the Gemini gang. And yeah, if you missed it, What's Next with Ronika? It's an IG live series where I go on live with industry professionals, former student athletes to talk about the transition period and what they're doing now, how to get there, and share all the advice that they can. So our guest is Robert Ringer. Let me do it again. Add question, paste. Ask questions in the question box, and we'll get to them at the end. He is a former UAB men's basketball player, and now. So we're going to welcome him on now. I zoomed in. It felt weird being so far. Hello. Still a little slow. No. Wait, I think.
Is that better?
Say something again. I think so. I could hear you, but
I said, is that
video's
better?
a little slow, but I could hear you. Still a
Okay, hold on.
loading
Let me see if I
screen,
can get in there
but I
better. It
hear
might
you.
be. Is that better? Is it?
Slightly. Oh, it's getting better. Yeah, it's getting better. Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
I got you. You got me?
Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me?
I got you. You got me?
Yeah.
Yes, I
I feel like I'm
got
in an
you.
AT&T commercial. It's like, can you hear me now?
I know. I'm sorry. I know. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's what I felt like.
It might be a little bit connection on my end. So if it is, I'm sorry about that.
It's loading now, so
Okay,
everything's
let me see.
coming on. Oh, okay.
Is it loaded?
Yes, I think. Good. We're good to go.
You're good to go?
Sorry, guys. Oh, I didn't pin
All
it.
right, you got me? You got me better?
Yes.
Okay,
Let
sorry
me.
about that.
You're good. I'm gonna pin so people can ask questions at the end.
All right,
Can
cool.
comment. Okay. Well, your username alone, it's Compton born.
Yes.
And so in your recruiting process, all the way from Compton, California to Birmingham, Alabama, what led to that decision?
Well, I think for me, originally, I actually went to school in the state of Washington at first.
Mm,
But I think for one thing that was, I think nobody really prepared me for was just even transitioning from, not only let alone transition to go to school out of state, but transitioning from an environment that I grew up in. So I went to school in Washington, and I didn't really last that long. And a lot of it was just my immaturity. I think as far as when I got there, I kind of didn't know what to expect. Also just trying to, as far as have like this new perspective of life and
mm.
how I should go about things. And so when I left school in Washington. I went back to Compton, and I love my mom, and I love my family, but I realized very soon that yeah, living at home wasn't my thing anymore. It was like, you know what? I was like, I love you guys, but I want to say it was one situation where my mom, she definitely likes a tidy house,
Yeah.
and I left a plate in the dishwasher, and it was like 1 in the morning. She was like, "You need to come wash this dish." I was like, "Yeah, it is." Like, "Yeah, this ain't for me anymore." So I think for them, man, I just really, as far as knew, if I was gonna take another step and venture off and go away to college again, that I really had to have like a different perspective. I had to kind of go about it a different way, and for me, it was just more so knowing that I just couldn't quit. I had to
Hmm.
kind of just go about it. So an opportunity came to go to Birmingham, and I think majority of people probably like was like, "What are you doing? Like, do you really
Yeah.
want to go from Compton, California, to Birmingham, Alabama?" So I took that chance, and it's definitely as far as a decision um, that I just couldn't pass up on.
And you talked about, I mean, a lot of it was moving on your own, going to Washington on your own, coming back, and then going to Birmingham on your own. What did
Yeah.
you learn from all of that, I guess, independence that you
Well,
gained.
I think for me, man, it really as far as taught me how to trust myself. I think sometimes when you're so, just as far as like in your comfort zone and just the ability to even like go to your parents or your loved one's house and just get that feel of comfort and of home. When that's
Hmm.
kind of taken away, I think you kind of got to find things within yourself to just really be like, you know what, who am I? You know, I don't have the luxuries of knowing that people around me or just an environment that I'm used to. It's just certain things that I think that when you know you could go to the corner store, you could go to
Hmm.
this little store and get your favorite. For me, I'm a Mexican food fan being from Cali. So
Yeah.
like, okay, you know what? I could get the comforts of home that just and once that was taken away, man, I had to really just kind of dive deep and say, you know what? Who do you want to be? You know what I'm saying? Knowing that if you want to as far as push forward and maybe reach some dreams, you got to depend on yourself. So how are you going to
Hmm.
do that? And I think those years truly, it just changed my perspective, and it changed as far as not only how I started looking at things at that time, but I'll even see now how some of those foundations are still in play.
Yeah. So you said you had to realize who you had to be. And I mean, you were an athlete, you were playing basketball there. So when did you really start to realize that basketball was going to be over and you had to figure out your identity without athletics?
Um, I mean, forever. I think it took a while. I think for you always realize or you always think that you got an opportunity to continue. And I think for me, I didn't have much of a plan B.
Hmm.
I mean, I was just happy that I was able to kind of go to college and to just get away. I mean, so many people that I knew growing up, they never left. Like they never
Hmm.
left Compton. They never had an opportunity to as far as see other things. And so you kind of always hold on that too. But I think, the people around me, when I really started to kind of branch out and meet some different people and then really start understanding, like, you know what, if this does not work out, like, what's next?
Hmm.
What's your next journey? What's your next step? And I think for me, even going into television, that was something that I stumbled up on.
Yeah,
I think I never even thought about TV until my junior year of college.
exactly.
Like
Like,
people,
so what even happened that
man,
you just ended up at
hey,
ESPN?
it's actually a kind of a bad story though too, because so I was at UAB and I was going to school for public relations. I was like,
Hmm.
yo, PR is what I want to do. For some odd reason, I felt like PR just sounded like a glamorous, exciting thing to be a part of. But unfortunately, the department head at UAB didn't feel like I belonged. Like straight up, he told me he was like, yeah, you don't fit my program. I was like, interesting. So, like being a California kid, man, I was like, what? He can't tell me this.
Yeah.
But then I realized I was in the deep south, which is a whole different situation. So, I had an elective I needed to take, and one of them I decided I said, I'm gonna take this TV course. And so I take the TV course, and just so happened the department head at UAB, he was teaching the course. He was teaching the TV course. And when I say I love just the creativity that television offered, like I was able to, some of our projects, he'd be like, you know what, this is a subject line, come up with a video, you have
Hmm.
all the resources to do it. He used to travel to like Cannes Film Festival. He used to just talk to me about, just allowing like what the things that I saw in our experience to just allow that creativity to just flow. And so man, I was going and I was doing these videos and just doing different things. And I remember having a conversation with my mom and I was like, I think I'm gonna switch my major. And she was like, what? I
Your
was like,
junior
what? I
year?
said, my junior year. She was like, you sure? I was like, I just feel it. I don't know what it is. I just feel it. And so I switched my major, and like I said, and this is one thing as far as I didn't really understand early. And I always tell people if I'm mentoring, I'm talking to them, is that man, the art of networking is amazing. Like
Hmm.
you got to be able to kind of just not only as far as like put people around you that are probably a little further along that can help guide you, but just sometimes even speaking up and letting people know what your aspirations and what your dreams are. And so for me, it was I was in the rec center. I used to go in there, always shoot, work out, and the two of the ladies that ran the rec center at UAB just became acquainted and was real cool. And so one day they reached out to me and they were just like, yo, it's a lady. She has a satellite ESPN office in Birmingham, and all I kept doing is thinking about you. And it was like, do you want us to give her a call to see if you could answer? I was like, of course. Why wouldn't I? And so I go and I meet with her, I interview with her, and then so she ended up hiring me as an intern, and she like became my mentor, and I mean she just really was just taught me what TV was about,
Hmm.
me understanding the layouts of ESPN, and it transitioned to me getting the job that I am now. When a job opened up in Charlotte, I was able to like I applied for the job, but the people that I met along the way, I reached out to everybody and I was like, listen,
Yeah.
I just went for the job. Is there any way you could write me a letter of recommendation? Can you speak to the people? And coming to find out, it was over 4,000 applicants for the position, but I ended up getting it. So, and I've been there since. So now ESPN is home.
Yeah. And you're moving around. First of all, 4,000 applicants. What do you think made you stick out of the thousands?
Well, I think number one, man, one thing during my internship that really, really helped me was that I was just open. I think I was just a sponge. And
Mm.
so me being a sponge and me being able as far as like willing to outwork anybody that came around, because I really truly enjoyed it. I enjoyed,
Mm.
even though, some of the work was, entry level work and that have you doing different things, but I was just so happy to just, be just kind of just really like be a part of something that I felt like could be my future and somebody that was
Mm.
willing to show me the ropes. I just really just observed it. I know during my interviewing process with ESPN, I had two interviews. And so after the second interview, come to find out is the hiring manager was, acquiring and talking to people about me. And so he reached out to my mentor and they ended up having a 2 hour conversation. And then one thing she said to him, though, she said, listen, she said, you may find someone, she said, you may find somebody that's more talented than Robert. You may find somebody that's even more skilled. He was like, but you would not find not one applicant that would work harder than him. And so when he said that, I remember the manager, he told me, he said, I had to hire you. And
Yeah.
now he's the vice president of, he's a coordinating producer, still works for ESPN. And it's like every once in a while, he just grabs me. He was like, she wasn't wrong, And I think
Yeah.
that's always been like my staple is just you know what, I'm gonna outwork you. You're not
Hmm.
gonna outwork me. And I think that's what really has helped me propel and help me as far as in this career.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
but what exactly does an associate producer do, or like, what are some big projects that you've been able to work on?
For me, man, I've done a lot of great things. Like last year, I worked the NBA draft. I actually
Mm.
was a field producer with Maria Taylor. We did all like the sideline interviews. So that Zion interview from
Hmm.
Zion to RJ Barrett. I was alongside of her, and we was orchestrating those interviews. So for me, man, I'm on the event side of things. So I do a lot of traveling. That's one thing. If
Hmm.
you work in events, be used to planes, which I don't know how this is going to change after we're done with all this.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of traveling. So the job kind of varies. I mean, I could go into an event and I could be producing the graphics for it. I could be film producing for it. I'm an associate director also, so I could be AD, call it AD, and which an associate director is pretty much responsible for the timing of the show.
Okay.
Sometime if you're doing graphics for the show, you're responsible for producing all the graphics for the show. I've produced shows. I've, like I said, field produced as far as some things from the NBA draft. I worked, college, women's college World Series events. I worked NCAA games. I worked a
Yeah.
lot of events. I mean, McDonald's, one of the events that I really enjoyed that we wasn't able to do this year, I've done the McDonald's All-American game the last couple of years, Jordan Brand Classic. So, um, I mean, ESPN has really allowed me to be a part of some special things.
That's incredible. Again. But
Yeah.
now I know you have a son, and from your journey, like, what lessons would you hope to pass down to him that he can benefit from coming up?
I think the biggest thing that I try to share with him is that, man, nothing is given to you,
Hmm.
and I think for me, even though he lives, and this is kind of an interesting piece to parenting, is that his journey is totally 180 from my journey.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, this. I mean, thank God, but I'm able to, as far as just provide a different environment for him. So he's like this suburban kid that, I mean, we walk and he don't even see probably homeless people, let alone gang
Yeah.
members. And I mean, that's something that I experienced every day.
Yeah.
So I think one thing I try to just share with him, I show him where I'm from, I share with him as far as my life, my journey, and I just tell him like, listen, man, whatever you desire, whatever you want, you gotta be the strongest proponent for it. Like you gotta go after it. You
Mhm.
cannot like wait for nobody to give it to you. You can like sit back, wait for it to happen. You gotta put your destiny in your own hands. And I said,
Mhm.
if you are putting in the work, you are, being diligent about your direction, things will work out in your favor. I remember even when this first started, the quarantine, and I was actually on an event got canceled. I was in the airport, came right back. And I remember telling him the first day, I said, you got to find an opportunity in every situation.
Mhm.
I said, so what is the opportunity in this? I said, yeah, we about to be out. Like you see me, I have no haircut. You
Yeah, people have been commenting
know,
on it.
yeah, I have no haircut. But I mean, but it's like I just told him, like, what's your opportunity? I said, you're gonna be at home. You're gonna be able to, probably be doing work from home. I said, but it's also to me, he's also an athlete. So I
Mhm.
also tell him like, hey man, what better time is it to just work out
Yeah.
now? Like, what better time is it to wake up and really have a time to work on your craft? So that's what I share with him.
Yeah, I think that's my dad from Boston. Like I couldn't imagine the way that he grew up because like we have a completely different life. Like we went back and I was like,
Yeah,
oh wow, this is a lot different. Like I
yeah.
cannot believe it.
But
But
how does that make you feel? Because I'm always curious of like my son's perspective of, your dad is sharing with you that
mm,
his journey was totally different from what you're able to experience. But are you truly able to embrace and understand that, or if it's just like kind of just stories that you hear?
I wasn't fully able to understand it until we went back to Boston and we were able to see like his side of the family because they're still there. And I was like, I am spoiled. Like I did not realize how privileged I was until like we went back. And I think hearing
Yeah.
stories about it, like you hear it, you don't really understand it, and then when you're there, you're like, all right,
Oh, this is for real.
yeah,
This is
all
for
right,
real.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's the
got,
same thing. That's the same thing with my son, man. I took him, we were in Compton last summer, and just so happened I was going to a barber shop, and so I'm walking in the barber shop, and a guy that in the neighborhood that I grew up with came into the barber shop and he saw me, and he's like, like a known like gang member, but he was a guy that always played basketball with, always looked out for me when I was younger. And so he's like telling my son
mm,
stories, and he's just looking at him like, what? And
yeah,
I'm like, listen, man, dad worked hard to make sure that your situation is
yeah.
different, so appreciate it.
Yeah, when I went over there, we were like in a Dunkin' Donuts and there was locks on everything. And like, I mean, I've never, like, I went to get a drink. I was like, you know what? Never mind. I'm just going to sit down and wait for someone to pick me up. But we're,
Definitely.
we're going to open up for questions now. Oh, favorite arena to work in?
Um, Favorite arena to work in. Um, I want to say Barclay. You know what? It matters. College, the Yum Center is pretty cool in Louisville. I gotta give it to them.
Okay.
I mean, for a college basketball arena, I think it's pretty impressive. I guess the elements, of course, doing a game in Cameron, just the energy that's there is always exciting. NBA, I like Barclays.
Okay. Okay. Mary Mullins, she put one in the chat. Favorite PA/CA of all
Oh,
time.
it's Mary, of course. She knows who
She-
it is. Listen. She already knows. She knows I miss her. It's her. She knows it.
Oh, well, you kind of already answered about the transition. So before you come off, if you had to say, I guess, your life motto, what you decide that you want to live by, what would that be?
Um, I say for me, man, one thing I think I've learned later, which I wish I would have known a little earlier, is just the importance of being present.
Mm,
I think that, presence and perspective to me is everything. I think that like even in now, man, I think so, one thing that I think this moment is teaching us all is that sometimes we gotta just slow down. We gotta
mm,
slow down. We gotta really, as far as like really, focus in on what's going on now, because we're all just in the same space of not knowing tomorrow, what things are going to kind of transition into. So being present, I think, is very important. And then perspective, I think how you choose and how you decide to look at life, it
Mhm.
changes how you see everything. Once I started to really just have a perspective of positivity and direction and being like, you know what, trying to see um how every single thing in my journey can work towards my good. And I
Mhm.
mean, once I start seeing things like that, things just start looking different. Things stop bothering me probably as much, and I think it definitely shaped how I start moving forward.
Yeah. I think that's an amazing thing to end on. Thank you so much for your time
Hey,
and
no,
being
thank you.
on. Of course. And enjoy, I guess, the rest of quarantine for as long as it lasts.
Hey man, hopefully I get in a barbershop soon. I know everybody give me a hard time.
I know I
I know
saw it
my
in the
boys gonna be
comments.
hitting me up. All right, you
Roasting
take
you.
care.
Thank
All
you.
right, bye bye.
All right, guys, that was another episode of What's Next with Veronica. In like 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to have S.A. Gadosa and have another great conversation. Remember to follow, the full videos will be on after this, but follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube, all those good things. And we want to shout out to, I almost thought I didn't have it, our partners with Mobot First Film Roll Water Bottle. You can go on their website and use promo code What's Next to get 25% off. And also, if you're on Amazon, which I feel like everyone is doing right now, buying random things, use smile.amazon.com and use the Winning Edge as your charity to donate to. We'll see you in a few. Bye.